your
Happy birthday, David.
thank you.
So welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. Jocelyn's up in the middle of the night. Foolish behavior. So here's a story. This is rubbish, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's two types of seeking. I did both of these, probably in equal measure. One is actively seeking, so seeking new speakers, buying new books, looking at YouTube clips, maybe doing a practice. Actively seeking. But then there's the other type of seeking, which isn't spoken about as much, which is simply waiting. So you say, I say, this isn't it. But if I wait, then it will be, or it might be, it could be. Maybe it'll turn up. Maybe it'll stop turning up. Maybe any maybe that you can imagine. And what I always was waiting for was the absence of myself. So I would realize when there was no one to be realized. Well, that's not going to happen. Because if there's no one to be realized, you won't be there for that, will you? So I didn't realize. It's probably the most crap realization there could be, isn't it? No realization at all. And yet that's what I want to say. There's motivation to say that. Whatever you're waiting for can't happen. And it's very simple why it can't happen. It's ridiculously simple why it can't happen, because nothing can happen. There isn't anything going to happen. Absolutely. And that's wonderful, dreadfully wonderful. I mean, there is no hope if there's nothing that could happen. There's no possibility. So this is all there is, what seems to be happening. And this isn't a possibility. And this is the only possibility. And even this is not one. This isn't possibly how it is. It is just how it is. And you won't know how it is. It is just how it is. I mean, that is all of it. So you can't call it a realization. Well, you can if you want. There's no rules against calling it whatever you want. You can say whatever you want about life. Life isn't listening. Most other human beings aren't listening. So that in itself is liberating. I don't know that no human beings know what's going on. I don't know that there aren't any, but I don't doubt that there aren't any. There are just lots of human beings who think they know. Innocently, quite comically, really. If anyone says they know what's going on or know how life works, there's no motivation to argue with anyone about that. That is what they think, what they believe. And maybe there is no more truth than that. I don't know what you've been seeking, what you've been searching for, but probably truth came into it somewhere. You know, the truth. Oh, yeah, I'm not interested in my truth or your truth. I want the absolute truth. If it's doubtless that there aren't human beings who have known the truth, they've just thought they know the truth and believe they know the truth, then there's a beautiful innocence to that. That as I said, it doesn't need arguing with, and there's no alternative to. I don't have an argument against it, so I don't have anything to defend. This is indefensible because it's nonsense. It's irrational and it's illogical and it's worthless. That's why it's love. Unconditional love has to be worthless. If you haven't realized that, you'll just be looking for more value. So you're left with just relative worth. And again, that feels all the more loving for not being absolute. Definitely not less. I had somebody ask me today, I talked about not knowing. He said, oh, so you know that you don't know. Which, of course, if you say not knowing, that'll be leveled at you quite a bit. And I went, well, if I knew I didn't know, that would be knowing, wouldn't it? And ultimately, it just comes out. So whether you say knowing or not knowing, it doesn't matter. You know, don't get stuck on not knowing. There's really no knowing from not knowing. That's the illusion. So I know what I know and I know what I don't know. No, you don't. And even if you think you do, so what? It doesn't matter. Self loves to know what it knows and to know what it doesn't know. So what? Well, it's great to see you all here. If you want to ask anything or you want to share anything, then please feel free.
Yeah, how's it sound up?
Hi, Shir. You need to unmute yourself, Shir.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, it's nice to see you after some time.
Nice to see you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I think to ask you, is this life is it just a shadow? Because according to this message, there is nothing is real. So if it's not real, it have to be a shadow then. That I was thinking.
Yeah. You mean because it's an illusion? Do you mean it by that way?
Yeah, I mean, according to this message, everything is nothing and it's not real, you know. It's not solid. So in that way, it have to be just, is that a shadow? Just a shadow?
Well, you could say that, but it depends what you mean by real, Shia. There isn't anything more real.
I mean by real, I
Yeah.
mean by real, which is solid, you know. This chair is solid, you know, it seems solid. When you touch it, it's solid, you know. So it seems real, you know. It's real
Yeah.
for a person like me.
Mm-hmm.
But according this message, there is not such a thing as a solid, you know. It's just appearance. So
Yeah, I mean that's a lovely spiritual idea, but I mean just bang your head on the table. I do feel that because the body is real. Well, it's as real as it gets. So I don't. The thing about you saying real and unreal, there isn't anything more real than this appearance. There isn't anything else. So the problem with saying it's only unreal life or shadow, you know, it's unreal or shadow. The problem with that is then you'll be seeking, so what is real? And there's no fucking end to that shit. You'll be looking to your dying breath for sure for what's more real than this. Well, there isn't anything more real than this. And really, whether this is real or unreal, I mean, who gives a fuck? It's the arrogance of self. It's just self who wants to know what's absolutely real. And we're human beings, you know, pretending we're God. And we could be omniscient. You know, we could see it all. We could see it, you know, not through a glass darkly anymore, not just the shadows, but I could just see the light. Well, the light and the shadows are not two. Real and not real are not two. This is not two. You won't find an answer to that conundrum of, is it just shadows? And in which case, then I need to search for the light. And you might not even stop there. You might want to search for the source of the light. I mean, I meet loads of people who want to find the source of the light. Well, fucking good luck with that. I mean, how on earth, if you came to a conclusion about the source of the light, and so I no longer see shadows, I mean, I can't think of anything more delusional. I don't know if that's helpful, Shir, but in a succinct way to answer your question, no, it is shadows, but it is also all the light that there is.
yeah, yeah, I mean, you know, because some dicta of Rumi, which I read, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has two periods, you know, Rumi. One is when he was a teacher, you know, he teach moral, you know, Islam is moral.
Mm-hmm.
But when they have one other period, which is really talk about emptiness and always about nothing, and always. And one of his poem I read that he said, the single breed is everything and the same time nothing.
Yes. Well,
But he may,
I don't like to argue with Rumi over that. That's
but you know, but anyway, he has two period. And you know, I know many people they talk about Rumi, and I do know they think that they read the poems and they know what you talk about it.
Mhm.
But it's really not like that because it's so difficult to understand what he said, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, in his moral, you can say when he was a teacher, you know.
Mhm.
In that case, yes, everybody can read his poem. Everybody think he talk about the in that case is duality, you know. It's because he is a teacher, you know.
Mhm.
But the other period in him is not a teacher at all, not at all. So many people, I believe, that they misunderstood him.
Mhm.
And because many in this message, which is no one's message, as the message says, and because it's similar, you know, it's similar, but nearly, you know, there is, I believe that in Rumi's case, there was just some glimpses, you know, but which you can share, you know, by this dick. And the appearance, it do talk about appearance exactly the way that you or Jim or everyone talk about it.
Mhm.
But it's still, in his case, I found that is a glimpses very deeply, much, I don't know, complicated, I can say, you know.
Mhm.
And you do talk about the unconditional love, like this message always says, you know. You don't talk about something else than unconditional love. You do even give the example, you know, of unconditional love. So that's why I mean when I read this, because my language is a Persian, you know,
Right.
and I do understand him a little bit better, you know, than
Right.
some Englishman are, because
Yeah.
it's very difficult to explain this in English. There is no way that it will be right explanation about
Mhm.
this. But anyway, we left it. But I just said the way he is to period time, you know. And then about the appearance, I did ask you before about the appearance, and you did give me an answer, but it's gone now. Some I don't know why, but it's I forgot. Or I remember, but I cannot catch it. I can say like that.
Well, if you could go away from Rumi and from Tim Cliss and never remember a single word they said, that would be for the best.
Yeah, but who is that to do that?
No, what I mean is forgetting is fine. There's nothing in the remembering of the words.
Yeah, but about the appearance, I did ask you before. I mean, everything appear front of this eyes, this two eyes. There is nothing otherwise. If there is not just two eyes, what will appear?
Well, ask
What will be appear? There will
ask a
be no
ask
appearance.
ask a blind person and they'll tell you lots of things that appear, I'm sure.
Sorry?
If you ask somebody whose eyes don't work and they can't see, you know, their eyes aren't working, then there's still the appearance. It's just not the visual.
Yeah, still will be appearance, surely.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, this two eyes is just actually, and factually, if you analyze it, it's a blind, you know. You cannot see something at all. The seeing, you know, it's just the, I don't know, brain or knowledge. You can say to you that that's a tree or that is I don't know, sky.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the eyes see nothing, you know, it's blind, you know. This I can just babble, you know. I just babble what I would like to.
Well, you know,
Anyway, I love this message, that's all. I
oh,
cannot.
thanks, yeah. You know, Rumi was just babbling too. He just
Yeah.
happened to be very poetic about his babbling.
Yeah, but it's also Shakespeare's also bubbling. This man, what he was also bubbling, and the fact, I mean, this is a bubbling. What is this than bubble than other than bubbling? It's not different that does this. I don't know, this dog as what you call it. You just said dog sparking something
Yeah.
like that. You know.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about this.
Yeah, just some dogs tend to have a more poetic bark than others.
But anyway, it's very it's not easy to discard Yuji anyway. I think he's a father of even what you call it, father of this message.
What, Yuji?
Yeah.
Don't give him too much credit, Shir.
No.
No.
You know why I say this? Because I have been with a person which was near him, and some years, you know. He is not a popular man or something like this. Like he shared the same message that Tony, you, Jim, all of them do.
It's
I think about
yeah.
Yuji, not about Rumi now either.
Well, you know, we all have our singing that we like better than other singing, or barking that we like better than other barking. It means nothing.
Yes, but this means nothing, but this means nothing is talking anyway.
Yeah. But there is a problem in, you know, putting anyone on a pedestal.
All right. Thanks anyway. I love
Oh,
this.
it's lovely to see you, Shir. Take care.
This question arise, but about the message, I really have nothing to ask. About the originally of the message, I have nothing to ask. But the question arise, and that's all.
Thanks, Shir.
Thanks.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Jocelyn has a hand up.
Jocelyn, you need to, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little pun with your you've got your bark on your new book, your tree bark.
Oh yeah.
You could have called it dogs barking.
I could have done, but that would have been a dreadful pun. So I'm so glad you didn't say that earlier.
Oh, barking up the wrong tree.
Pissing up the wrong tree. Sorry, barking up the wrong tree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Thanks. That's a great contribution. Barking up the wrong tree. Well, and I mean, there's something in that. If you ever, you know, choose a tree and this is the tree, not just any old tree, but the fucking tree. If you're barking up that's the wrong tree. Jeremy.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
you're muted. Oh, actually, you're not muted, but we can't hear you.
Oh yeah. You maybe have to turn your volume up.
Still nothing. If you're on a laptop or got it.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
I was what's this thing? Yeah. Love to know the Persian for babbling. Anyway. Yeah, it's often in the description. It's obvious that you know, there's the looking and trying to understand and getting the message that it's sort of indescribably obvious and not where the searching mechanism might always try to focus.
Mm-hmm.
It's it sort of can't help it, can it? It does what it has to do in a way.
Yeah.
And there's so after the shift,
Mm-hmm.
there, I assume, is brain that has to get used to a new environment that sees this what sounds like a simplicity or a different sort of it's coming out of the searching thing. So that change.
No.
No.
No. No, seeing was exactly the same. There's nothing seeing. If you mean seeing as in visual perception, is that what you mean?
No, the brain's reaction to everything. I just get the sense that there's a.
I think the body's more reactive. So you say brain's more reactive, less.
Yeah.
Considered, more reactive, because consideration was always trying to protect me. So more spontaneous, you could say, I suppose. But then again, I'm loath to talk about how anything is different because I've really got to try and remember. I have to try and remember how it was, and then I have to. Then there's only literally this, and then of course, if I say how this is, it's already gone. So this is always speaking about. This is always speaking about that, and then I'm trying to compare it with that. So I'm comparing that with that straight away. So all comparisons are nonsensical. In a very real way, there can't be a shift. Because if there's only shifting, there's no shift. I mean, this never remains the same as an appearance at all. And if you speak about the appearance, really what I'm saying is you want to compare then with now, or you're asking me what was the difference, and I can't, it's not possible. I mean, I can tell a story about it, but I can't tell you how worthless they are. I mean, they're just not worth anything. They're not worth the fucking paper they're written on. And the microphone that received them. Because if I can't find that, you know, the whole now thing, what's happening. I mean, no one says now. I was talking to somebody today about that as well. Went, no, fucking Eckhart has ruined that word. No one who speaks about non-duality can ever mention that. Bloody, it's a good word, but no one can ever use it because he's patented that. Bastard.
Exactly.
So, but you can't talk about, so what you're saying is, how is it now compared with how it was then? Well, if I can talk about it, I'm talking about then and then, because now you can't, there's no finding it, there's no speaking about it, there's no comprehension of it. This is I mean, it's a pointless exercise, but you can easily see, if you think about what's happening, the thought is always what has happened. It's never what's happening. The thought is happening, but it's not about what's happening. It's about what has happened. Thought's always after. Of course it is. So we can't refer to now. You can't reference it. You can't access the present, the what's happening, the appearance, whatever phrase you like the sound of. So when I talk about not knowing, that's really what I mean. On a very simplistic, practical level, if you think you have access to it intellectually, it's bollocks. I can tell you a load of stories how it's different, though. I say that.
Well, you have done.
If you want me to, I can do.
No,
What I'm saying is there's no mileage in any of that. It's all it's all bullshit. Because none of it ever happened in an absolute way. I mean, there are stories of what has happened and how things have changed, but absolutely there's only change as an appearance. So everything changes, nothing doesn't change. And you won't find nothing. It's nothing to find. And that's what you're looking for. So really, you can't find the everything because the everything is already gone by the time you found it. And you can't find nothing because there's nothing to find. So there you go. That's the end of the seeking, really, in a nutshell. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you go, and although that doesn't look like this doesn't look like enlightenment, but that's pretty enlightened, really. You know, what are you going to do? Well, do whatever you like. It won't make any difference. It's fine. I mean, there's freedom in it, but not freedom for you. It's just free. This is free in all senses of the word free. So it's free in that there's no cost. And it's free as in it's totally anarchic. Wild and free, you know? And so self says it wants freedom. Bullshit. No self wants freedom. Self wants fucking control. There's the truth. No self ever wants to hear this. Self is obsessed with control and it even wants to control freedom. I'll have freedom on my terms. Thank you very much. Well, that won't be freedom, will it? Freedom is free. And you don't kid yourself, you want it. You don't. In order to keep seeking, you have to keep kidding yourself that it's what you want. Really, I mean, here's a story, but you could say if it comes to a point it's not, you really don't want it, then you're in with a shout. Of course you're not, but there we are. Because you can't, if you're looking for anything, you can't help but you have to focus on something that could be found. Well, and this simply can't be found. It is that direct, really. because there isn't anything outside of it. I mean, there's no outside of it to find it, and there's nothing inside of it. There isn't an it. It's all it's, and no it at all. And that could make shit. I'm not sure. It's really, if the search, it kind of has to just, I don't know. If I was telling a story, it's the only hopes are complete exhaustion, utter despair, desperate hopelessness, complete meaninglessness, and undoubted purposelessness. There's a cocktail, and you have to put equal amounts into a glass with some Jack Daniels and a dash of Diet Coke, and drink until you're fucking shit-faced.
I'll give it a go.
And then you won't feel better, Jeremy. You won't feel better. You have a terrible hangover. But at least it's sort of like annihilating. You can at least write off the next day.
So, yeah, sort of a reset.
Wow.
Yeah, the searching goes on, doesn't it? Just ticks over.
I mean, I think it's fine if it's fun. I know seekers are having a lot of fun doing their seeking. It can be, until it's not, and then it's not. Then it's really dreadful. But it's all innocent. I never tell anyone to stop doing it. How could they do that?
Exactly. Yep, thanks.
Cheers, Jeremy.
Michael has his hand up.
Michael.
I think it was Jack Kerouac that said it. Nothing's changed, but man, I ain't the same. I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I think it's the joy and awe of simply being, constantly amazed that anything exists at all. Subsumed in this, whatever it isness. Not separate from it. An integral part of it. As close as words can come. I think anytime words are used, it's part of the shared dream of separation.
Yeah, you see, I really disagree with you on the words thing, because I find the words don't separate at all. No, because the words, there is only this aloneness, and what the words seem to do is, even though it's not true, they have this illusion of connection, of communication, and that's love. So the words feel like love to me. They really do. So without the words, there's what I mean is the words are not the problem at all. Language is not a problem. And there are some who listen to this message and hear speakers, and there's almost that language is an issue. You know, because language is subject object. That's how language works, and so that is, of course, enhancing and it's making the separation worse. No, that's not. The separation is either felt or not. I don't feel the separation is anything to do with language at all.
The I think we exist as personas only in imaginary separation. And I think that's the jewel of the manifested. I think we are the jewel of the manifested universe, that the only place where love and beauty exist. Everybody seems to want to get rid of the self or berate it or diminish it. I think it's the best and the worst life has to offer. I think it's wonderful. I think that
I don't know how we get on, Michael, because I think it's absolutely dreadful and you think it's wonderful. And here we are.
And here we are.
Getting on like a house on fire. That just shows you, doesn't it? Because I think self is a crock of shit. And you think it's the jewel of the manifested universe. Well, I don't think there is a self at all.
Oh, no, no. It's like all things.
And you don't either.
No, it's an illusion. We live as personas in an illusion. It's all illusory. It's all belief.
Do you feel you live as a persona still?
I'm sorry.
Do you feel you live as a persona?
Oh, no, no. I think that the persona is an illusion also, a hologram, a mnemonic hologram.
Well, thank God for that. I thought, I mean, I've been friends with you for 5 years.
Longer than that.
Yeah, longer than
that. No, I think it's again, the best and the worst life has to offer. There's agony in the human mind. There's torture, but there's also this sublime, subsumed in simply being, in the awareness that we're aware only through language. I think language is the gift. I think we're so temporary and so beautiful and so unique. Nothing like us has ever been or ever will be again. When we're gone, evolution doesn't repeat itself. We won't be back. But while we're here, I think we can look around and see the beauty of the universe as who we are. There's no beauty in the manifested universe. The dinosaurs had no love at all. It was just everything eating everything. And that's the way life is, except for humanity, where you call it love, I call it the joy of being. That's the only place it exists. I think dogs have fun, but they don't know they're having fun.
Yeah, they probably do.
Oh, I think only language brings this illusion of separation and the awareness of having fun, of being in love, of falling in love. I think they have the same brain chemicals. I mean, that's been proven. Dopamine, serotonin, there's two more that play this orchestra of emotional responses. And sentient beings have that, but human beings are aware of.
They're just like Pavlov found that they're just like human beings. You put pepperoni pizza in front of a dog and it salivates just like a human.
Of course. But he doesn't even know he's hungry. He's just a ball of reactive process.
No, the thing is, I'm not sure we do. I just think we just tell there's hunger and then we tell a story about it.
Right, because of language.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. So really all we are storytelling animals.
Of course. But look at the stories.
Yeah, they're all right, but most people's aren't, Michael. Most people's you never want to hear. You don't want to hear it the first time, let alone a second time.
Oh,
just think how boring most people's stories are about, all their troubles, how desperately unlucky they've been, all that.
A man delivered groceries to our car the other day, and I said, where are you from? He says, he had a different ethnicity look to him. I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from the Philippines. I said, oh, I wanted to know about the Philippines and how he came here and why he came here. Maybe his parents came here. He told me a story and I loved it. And I said, what's your name in the Philippines? And he told me this name I couldn't pronounce. I said, well, what did your mother call you when she was mad at you? She said, she called me Junior. I said, okay, I'm going to call you Junior from now on. And we had the funnest time. His story wove itself into became me. That's all I am is stories, but I love your story.
Yeah.
I love Darren's story. I
Yeah.
love the people that I know. I think that's what love is.
You're
Loving.
you're just nicer than me. I mean,
No.
I'm being really honest. Most people's stories, I mean, I just like, please get me a drink, get me something,
Oh my.
just
Oh.
just to numb the fucking pain.
Oh, I think you're one of the nicest people I've ever known. I
No, I
don't know.
don't. No, I am nice, so I don't tell them that, you know.
You can't see that, of course, because you are whatever that story is, and we can't see our own story. I think it's why we need others as mirrors. That's why we love others. They're a mirror for our own beauty, for our own radiant humanness.
Oh, you're such a romantic.
I love you, Tim. Thanks.
Cheers, Michael.
Razia has a hand up.
Hi, Razia.
Hi, Tim. I like this koan. It says, if I say anything about this, it's a lie. And yet, if I don't say anything, I am a coward.
That's nice.
And
Who said that?
I don't know, it's a koan. And one of those Zen people.
One of
But
those
today we had,
folks.
yeah, I don't know all those Zen people.
Yeah,
Ask me about
that's nice. I like that.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's the thing. To say something about this could be like seen as being abnormal, that you're not normal, that you are experiencing life differently from the norm. Yeah, and I thought that was beautiful. And yeah, then we were talking about, Michael brought up language. And languaging is so, I mean, from what I see, it's important because it kind of builds bridges, you know? And if you look back at the Bible stories, there's a story of the Tower of Babel. And all these people were building this tower to reach God or something, you know? And then God changed them all so that they'll all be speaking different languages and stuff like that. So they couldn't reach him. And yeah, it's one of those stories that you hear. But when it comes to language itself, it's like we look at Nazakadatta, who said, language, I mean, any method of practice is like washing blood with blood, you know? You're using the practice tool. So it's not really very effective as far as he was concerned. But Ramana, on the other hand, says that you use a thorn to remove a thorn, and then you throw both thorns away. Meaning simply that you can use any method to achieve this and then throw it away. But now, obviously, that rests on the premise that there is someone there that is going to be changed, you know, in some way.
Well, there is one greater premise that is in that, which is that there is something to attain.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. But yet we know that, yeah. Like when I was going through this whole process, I didn't have books and stuff like that, right? But it was like the words were teaching me. I don't know how it happened, but like when I would like be with people and I was very judgmental, I would feel like a pain in my heart, you know, and it would be like an actual contraction. And if people were lying to me, I'll feel like a pain in my neck. sometimes I couldn't forgive what people were saying to me. And then I feel like this headache coming on, you know? It was like I was being taught this character or this persona was being taught, this me, was being taught by these contractions and expansions, like kind of like being maybe programmed in a way, you know? I don't know what else to say, but or deprogrammed. And then I started. I liked Jesus a lot because I went to Sunday school when I was like 5, and he was like my hero. Like, you know, when people have role models, I had Jesus, and I think you also have Jesus.
Well, you're not alone in that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he's #1 role model still, isn't he? He's done well
yeah.
for himself. To be honest, Carpenter's, you know, working class hero and all that, from humble beginnings
Yeah,
to be the role model still after 2000.
yeah,
He's done pretty well for himself.
exactly. And I mean, really, I know, like, I'm gonna die, no one's gonna remember me, but he's never gonna be forgotten, you know? And yeah, and what really I liked about him was like he was on the cross, right? And these people were stoning him and hurling insults at him, and he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And for me, that became that thing now, you know? I must be able to forgive like that. I mean, why am I getting, when petty things happen in my life and I'm getting so angry? This me is like, can't talk to that person now, you know? So I started to learn this forgiveness thing. It became like I had to forgive. And then I started to say the Lord's Prayer, and especially the part where it says you had to forgive. So that was it. Like, it was like words were had so much of impact on this. And then I'll go back to the koan that says that if whatever I say about this is a lie, and yet if I don't say it, I am a coward, you know? Thanks.
Thanks, Raji.
I always heard that, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. I always heard that as there's no knower and no doer. There's just, that's how I always heard it.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
But,
Yeah.
but here's the thing, far be it from me to criticize, but he came out with a few gems. That is definitely one. But of course, if they know not what they do, there is no forgiveness required. So it kind of sort of nullifies the whole statement, because forgiveness is if you know what you do and you do have volition and you do have free will and choice and you could have done other, then of course there is forgiveness required. But with no free will, with no choice, with just being as you are being, there is no forgiveness required, because you could not do other than you do. You're not doing it, but the human being. So don't bother forgive them, for they know not what they do. You can forget about the forgiveness, it's all right. They couldn't do anything else. Do you still think you could do other than you do?
Yeah, that's what I also
I
was
wasn't
talking
asking you,
about.
Rose, yeah? I was, do you, but yeah. It was a rhetorical
Like,
question.
yeah.
Do you
No, also like I was
do you still feel you got choices, Razia?
no. I realized that like today I
Correct
wrote
answer.
this
Good
and
answer.
said,
Good answer.
yeah, I mean we have no choice.
But
We could want 100 things or 1,000 things to happen.
Yeah.
But what we want to happen will not happen, you know. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen. I mean, not supposed
No,
to, but
no,
whatever
no,
is
no,
going
no,
to.
no. Nothing is supposed to happen, Razia.
Yeah. It's
Earth,
like, how do
on
you
earth do you
expect it?
think is supposed to happen?
No, I mean, like, it's like, I'm talking about like free will, you know? Like, we don't have that, we cannot control the outcomes,
No, I
you
know,
know?
I
As
know.
persona,
But you,
we, yeah.
but you still think that there's somebody in charge because he knows what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that is it. I mean, it can't be interpreted like that. But there is no one in charge. It's just like happening. And whatever
I
appears
mean,
to be happening might not be what the persona wants to happen. You know, like we always say, I will pray for this, you know,
yeah.
and I'll pray for that to happen. Yeah. And often these things don't happen, and there's
Who
kind of
who do you
disappointment.
who do you pray to, Razia?
I used to play a lot before this, before I met Michael. I played a lot. When I didn't play, I didn't ask for anything. Please believe me, I didn't want anything.
Yeah.
I just played because it made me happy.
Thanks, Razia.
Thank you.
Share.
I
Yeah,
just gonna jump in really quickly. I was just
Yeah, sure.
thinking that's a really interesting quote. Thinking about that quote, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do."
Yeah.
I mean, isn't this more like the impossibility of forgiveness?
Mhm,
Really?
mhm.
So it's a strange one, that quote, isn't it?
Well, it's not a strange one. Not when you're a believer in the self.
Right, yeah.
If you have a convict, you know, that's written by a self for other selves.
Yeah.
As although they have a self, they don't really understand because I think how you're understanding it is not how it's normally understood. Normally it's understood that people selves don't realize the consequences of what they're doing. So they don't realize that Jesus is the Son of God. They don't realize the consequences of, you know, the gravity of what they're doing. But of course, if there is no one to forgive, then no.
No.
I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I suspect that's not a quote, a Jesus quote himself. That's probably just written in, isn't it, by the sounds of it?
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah. One thing you won't, I mean, again, you can pretend that you like that and you want the end of forgiveness. You like the idea that forgiveness is not necessary, but self doesn't want that at all. You love to have the choice of whether to forgive or not.
Because it makes you feel good.
It makes you feel so good when you forgive. I mean, we was talking about that taken away, you know, talking about most of everything being taken away.
And for some people, it makes them feel good not to forgive.
Absolutely. Oh no, to be bitter and have resentment for a lifetime is very empowering. I mean, you've met loads of people who they will hold resentment and non-forgiveness for a lifetime. There are some who suggest that is a cause of cancer, but of course that would be magical thinking. But you know, it is kind of a cancer, whether it causes any physical disease or not. That is a disease, that bitterness, resentment, hatred. You know, under torture, I would never forgive. I wouldn't forgive. I'd much rather die than forgive. I know quite a few selves like that.
And I guess it gives people a sense of control, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. Well, both of it, actually, forgiveness and non-forgiveness, both is a sense of control.
Yeah.
And
Shia has his hand up. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Shia.
Yeah. Do you have a free will as you are?
no.
How you say no? because you are nothing, so you are everything.
No,
And you have to have everything.
no, not like that.
Not as a person, not
No,
as a that you are not. You're nothing.
So here's the thing about free will. Free will. So you get a decision to be made. There's a choice to be made, and so there's thoughts considering the options, and a decision is seemingly made. So most selves say they have made the decision, and I had free will between the choices to make the choice that was made. Well, there is seeming free will, but there's no one who has it. Don't think that there will be, it's not like there will never be thoughts about making a decision ever again without me. It's not you making decisions. It's not you who has free will. It's not you. They just all happen naturally. You're a remarkably clever human being.
But also in the same time, this message says that there is the thought has no any power.
Say that again, Shin.
That the thought the thought is nothing. He has no power at all.
Well, no, I mean, there is the thing about no power. It's the same as power. There's no one to not have power or have power.
Yeah, I got
There's
it.
no one to make a choice or to not make a choice. There's no one to have free will and to not have free will. So free will seems to happen or not.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times, I'm sure all of you have felt, where I had no choice. That was totally choiceless. There didn't seem any free will in that. I had to do that. Now, when you tell the other selves, they don't like the sound of that, because they like to be able to blame you for your choice, because when they don't like it.
Yeah.
But another time, then there is a sense of free will. So a sense of free will or not, it's nothing to do with you. So this kind of makes the free will argument redundant. There's no mileage in, there's no interest in it at all. That's quite a relief, because that's such a philosophical topic that in spiritual circles, that's such a big deal, free will.
Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome. What's time? 27 minutes.
Time is over, I think.
7 minutes past. I'll just give a little plug. So I'm going to Berlin in 3 weeks' time. So I'll be in Berlin speaking. The details are on my website on the 13th of October. And also you're all invited to my house for a Saturday afternoon of afternoon tea. I shall get cream cakes. I just made that up because I'm just trying to sell it somehow. But I now will. Now I've said it, I will do it, probably. But yeah, so that's 2 weeks later. So that's at the end of October. The details are on my website. And the wonderful news about my terribly long-awaited book is that it's finally in Amazon, should be ready tomorrow or Saturday for sale. So that's been a bit of a slog getting there. So it's great. It's great that it's finished. And as Jocelyn said, it's called The Illusion of Continuity, in brackets, dog barking up the wrong tree. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Lovely to see you all. Take care.
Thank you.
See you.
Mhm.